Am I the asshole for posting a relative's nudes in the family group chat? Kyle, 22 male, is a distant relative. Well, he's actually my 19 female stepdad's cousin's kid. I've never really been around him much though, just the odd family get-togethers. We hadn't seen each other for a while, but we did at a wedding a few months ago. He got drunk and kept hitting on me, saying how hot I was and how he'd love to get to know me better. I rolled my eyes and kept trying to get away from him, but he kept following me about throughout the day. Someone at the gathering decided to give him my number, and later on that day, he kept messaging me. I complained to my stepdad, who shrugged it off. Some people even thought it was cute or funny, which just encouraged him to act more outrageous. A few days later, he started sexting me and sending me nudes. What's worse was people who were at the wedding would tease me like it was some grand joke. About a month or two later, I finally had enough. I sent everyone who had mocked me, and then some. They all got nudes of Kyle. Family making fun of me and Kyle in the group chat, Kyle nude. Aunt who thought would make a cute couple, Kyle nude. His parents who had raised him to be this crappy person, Kyle nude, plus lewd texts. My stepdad even received a printed picture on his pillow. Amazing how many people I could find via group chats and various social media and others that I had phone numbers for. Since then, I've had a few family members telling me off, saying how gross it was sending them nudes of Kyle and how I invaded his privacy, although the younger generation of cousins has taken to posting memes about him, such as, quote unquote, when there's a family reunion and you can't decide which of your cousins to bang, or edited versions of his pictures, such as a small leaf covering his small bits. So, was I the asshole for posting my relative's nudes in the family group chat? Edit number 1. I tried to block him, but he keeps creating fake accounts and contacting me on different areas of social media. I have already told him off for hitting on me, only to receive a nude of him saying, quote unquote, bet if you had a taste, you would like it. I was just fed up with the mocking, the messages from people making fun of me and him hitting me down. It was tiring. I began to dread the phone message sounds to the point where I turned off the phone and went walking around for the day without it. I know it's an extreme measure to send nudes to everyone, but it shut them up about how we should go out and how I should give Kyle a chance. Edit number 2. Yes, Kyle has stopped sending me nudes, finally. My cousins found out about it and started making fun of him. His stepbrother changed his ringtone to Sweet Home Alabama and his morning alarm to it and keeps saying, "What are you doing, stepbro?" just to annoy him. Kyle did have a rant on my voicemail saying that I had ruined him and how much of a bitch I was. Edit number 3. Revenge porn isn't a thing where I live. Edit number 4. It's safe to say that Kyle and I do not talk anymore, and I fully credit it to me exposing his nudes to the family group chat. So, was I the asshole? Am I the asshole for using some of my stepson's camp savings to buy a replacement sneaker for my son? My son Chris's 16th birthday was weeks ago. His mom, my ex-wife, couldn't be with him due to work, but sent him a pair of Adidas sneakers as his birthday gift. Chris is a runner and he enjoys running every day as a way to relieve stress and anxiety. My stepson Jake, 17, saw the sneakers and said they looked like the ones his favorite artist, Kanye Brown, was wearing in Famous Friends music video. And so he got so hung up on them, always asking Chris to see them and try them on. Chris let him see them, but not wear them because Jake has bigger feet and he was worried he might ruin them. Jake wanted to wear the sneakers in front of his friends, but Chris didn't let him leave the house with them. Jake ended up sneaking out with them a couple of times, which made Chris hide them since he kept taking them without permission. Jake was no longer able to sneak out wearing the sneakers and begged Chris to let him wear them out one last time in a party his friends had. Chris said no, and Jake somehow was able to locate the sneakers, but instead of going out with them, he cut them with hand pruner and kept them in his room while Chris and I looked for them till his mom found them. Chris saw the damage and was upset that I grounded Jake and promised Chris to get a replacement, but when his mom called to tell me those sneakers are worth $600 and had to be replaced, I was in utter shock. I saw the receipt and even then I couldn't believe it because $600 is way more than I can afford. Chris's mom is a cardiologist. She can afford this stuff, but I obviously can't. I was fuming. I let Jake know how much he messed up and told him I will be replacing the sneakers using the money he saved up for his week-long summer camp. Jake had a meltdown and said he was already punished and it wasn't fair to punish him further. My wife thought I exaggerated and talked about how important summer camp is for Jake as he's been waiting for it for months. I let her know that Chris's mom is rightfully upset. Her gift for him got ruined, and because Jake acted out of spite and maliciousness, then it's only fair he'd pay for replacement. My wife accused me if Jake knew those sneakers were that expensive, he would have never, ever touched them, but thought Chris wasn't letting him borrow them on purpose. What's done is done, and I made my decision final. Both my wife and Jake are giving me the silent treatment and refusing to talk about it. My wife thinks it's crazy to spend $600 on new sneakers. I agree, but those aren't mine, so they do need to be replaced. So, am I the asshole? Edit to add that because Chris's mom sends somewhat expensive items to Chris, Jake would sometimes feel jealous, which is understandable. I make sure to treat both boys equally by getting them equal stuff. My wife thinks that Chris should be sharing with his brother, and he does, but there are things that just cannot be shared, like sneakers. Am I the asshole for refusing to walk my daughter down the aisle on her wedding day? My daughter, 26 female, and I haven't spoken in years. When she was 15, we found out she wasn't my biological daughter, and my wife had cheated on me years ago with one of my friends. As it turns out, this so-called friend was suddenly interested in playing dad. My wife and I divorced, my daughter learned the truth, and I told her that I still loved her no matter what. Of course, she was interested now in getting to know her biological father, and while it hurt, I tried to accept that. She started pulling away from me after that. Even when trying to still do things together as a family, she was no longer interested. The last straw was when she was 20 and living at my house. We were arguing because she'd dropped from her college courses, hasn't done anything for 3 months, and she was mad because I told her she either needed to go to school or work if she wants to stay here for free. She told me I'm not her real dad, so stop pretending like I am, and she'll just go stay with her real father. That broke me, honestly. But I told her if that's how she really feels, then there's really nothing left to say between us. And she did move out to go live with him. I was depressed for a very long time. I drank so much. My son, 24 male, was my only reason to keep moving forward. For the first couple years, I reached out to my daughter. She wanted no contact. I learned to accept that and move on. It helped me find more peace in my life. My son stopped talking to her for a while over this and was angry with her. They still chat sometimes, which doesn't bother me at all. Through him, I learned her biological father died in October 2019. Also, that she's engaged. She reached out to me. First, that she knows that we haven't talked in a while, but wants to ask me if I'd be willing to walk her down the aisle. After a pretty long message about how much she hurt me in the past with her actions, I told her no. She didn't want me to be her father anymore, so I learned to no longer view her as my daughter. This turned into a fight between us because, according to her, it's not her fault she wanted to know her real dad. And I agreed with her it's not, but what was her fault was how she treated me ever since. Am I the asshole for calling the police on my dad when he stole the money that was meant for my child's birthday? I, 22 female, have a son who's going to be 4 next month. I'm low income, so birthdays and Christmas are something I need to save for year round, but I always make a fairly big deal out of them because I never had that as a young child due to my father's inability to spend money on anything that wasn't a necessity or alcohol. When I got my first job at 16, 3/4 of my paycheck was taken by him to support his addiction. Now, it might be worth a note that I kept this money in cash and in my house. My mom has a key to my house that I've told her not to give my dad access to. She has a key because she watches my son 3 days a week while I work to cut down on childcare costs. My mom knew about the fact I was saving, and I think she let it slip to my dad, but I'm really not sure. He somehow managed to get my mom's key and went into my house while I was working on Thursday. He had found and stolen the money saved for this year's Christmas and my son's birthday and taken it. I knew it was him because I have a security camera on both doors and in the spare bedroom where it was kept. They're all fairly obviously security cameras. I didn't bother to even check until Friday evening, though, when I was going to gather some to get my son a present while he was at his dad's for the weekend. When I noticed all of it was gone, I checked the cameras and sure enough, found out it was my dad fairly quick. I didn't even bother contacting my mom. I just called the police. They came and took a statement off me and went to my parents' house to get one off my mom and dad. In the space of maybe 36 hours, my dad had managed to spend upwards of 250 pounds on a drink. I'd imagine in a pub where it's more expensive, but I'm not for certain. I went into the station Saturday morning to give in the CCTV footage when I was informed there was nothing they could do as the money seems to have disappeared into thin air. When I called my mom to tell her this, she got really angry at me because having a theft charge could cost my dad his career and get them evicted from their accommodation and all of this hullabaloo. She thinks I'm an asshole for calling the police before calling her and asking what happened. I don't think I am because my dad ruined a birthday and potentially a Christmas. Was I the asshole here?